So you've obviously done several true stories in your career. What changes for you when you're working on something that's based on a true story as opposed to an entirely fictional character?
There's an added responsibility because it's not a figment of your imagination. It's not just conjured up, and there's a person there, and you have to take that into consideration when you're doing it. And it's you meet the person that you're playing, and it's strange. And you're happy to be with him, but you're also thinking like, how is this going to how am I going to portray that person? That's a real guy. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not just I'm not just inventing it. And the guy that I portray was on set, I think the second day that I shot. And he was great. He was being himself. He was taking over. He was giving the director notes. He was giving me notes. I think the one thing they told him, you can come and watch, but you can't come behind the monitor with the director. Immediately, he was there, hanging out at the monitor, pointing things out. But that was kind of a gift that he was there. It was very generous of him, and of all of these people to avail themselves, to say, here's information about me. This is what I thought. This is what I did. So you have to kind of accept it graciously as well, and thankfully.
What did you learn about the housing crisis after making this film, and what do you think it says about our society, where we are, where we're going?
What's interesting? I think people are watching the movie and are conflicted about who they should be rooting for, which I find interesting, because these guys made a fortune betting against our economy. I mean, betting against the American people, essentially. And if the economy failed, if these banks fail, and people lost jobs and lost houses, then they were going to reap the benefits. But those are the guys with the white hats in this movie. So it's a strange thing. It's sort of a phenomenon about, I think, this script is because really they are inadvertently the heroes, because all the other people involved are far worse than they are. They're just doing their jobs, They're doing what they were trained to do, is earn money, and bet the economy as they see it.
It's like lesser of two evils.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've worked with Adam McKay, obviously, a bunch, and he's a wonderful comedic director. This time it's a much more dramatic story. So how was he this time around? Did his directing change? Did your relationship change?
Well, yeah, our relationship just ended with this. He was so brutal. No, it was the same. It was the same, but I mean, he uses the same sort of tools, but in a different way. Like, he loves to improvise, but the improv was less comedy-based and more character-based. It was more about finding out how these people relate to one another and relate to the subject matter, as opposed to, let's just throw out 50 funny things and see if any of them stick. But he used the same device to help us find our characters and uncover things. It was fun to work. He and we've talked about this a lot, that it was a different work experience for both of us together, because we got to unearth things about these guys and figure out what made them tick and find little subtleties. And but it's still fun. It's still very buoyant, but it's not Anchorman. It's not the same environment at all, but in some respects it is.